Finally, it just it felt like it was coming. I feel like we were definitely building towards that win. Obviously, a pretty good performance against the Bombers 2 weeks ago at Dreamtime. Went down to Geelong and really put up a good fight there as well. And I think we were showing that we were going to be a lot more competitive than what we were against the Dogs and the Lions. I think that was definitely an outlier for the way that we want to perform and the way that we want to set ourselves up moving forward. So it was building. It was definitely a win that was building. We were due for it. Obviously, it had been, round 3 the last time we had a win, 60-odd days, whatever it might have been. And the feeling was definitely there. It was one of those games where Adelaide had a lot of pressure on them. I think we were fortunate enough to head into this game with no expectation, no pressure on us. Where Adelaide had all of it. They had to win to sort of keep themselves in finals contention. Obviously, if you lose to a team like Richmond with a lot of injuries, and it's sort of you have those signs like, where are we at? So I think all the pressure was on them. They had a couple of big outs as well, which obviously helped us. In Tex Walker and Isaac Rankin didn't play, and so it obviously that affects the team. I think them dropping Riley O'Brien was a really silly decision on their behalf. I think they really could have used him, especially with the way Nank ended up playing. So it worked into our favour, little bits and pieces here and there. But I remember waking up Thursday morning and I just thought, you always go in with a little bit of optimism, but I woke up thinking, I've got a feeling. I don't know what it is. I just have a feeling that we can really pinch him here and we can get this done. And to wake up, go through the whole day feeling like that, and then, the game starts and it took place. It was nice. It was a nice feeling. Obviously, we haven't had a win in a little while, so unfamiliar territory for us at the moment, but it was quite special. And like I said, I think we were due for that. We were due for that kind of performance. We've put on clinics and no, I shouldn't say clinics. That's the wrong word for it. But we've put on some good performances and some competitive efforts, but not for long enough, not for that full 4 quarters. And you could argue that we didn't do it for 4 quarters on Thursday night as well, with that last quarter again being an outlier for us where we do tend to drop off. But we were able to hold on. And, at the end of the day, that's what matters. And we managed to get it done. And obviously there's a bit of speculation during the week. So I said there was no pressure on the Tigers, but there was that little bit because, there was that, should we have played Dusty? Should we not have played Dusty? And, are we in a position where we can afford to be just resting players for milestone games? And I know the club came out and said he was sick. And look, he may have been, but I feel like they would have rested him either way, just to play his 300th against the Hawks at the G. And, I'm glad the club did what they did. Obviously, hindsight's a wonderful thing. I think even if we had a loss, though, I would have preferred them to not have played Dusty. I think not even for Dusty, but just for the fans and the club. Like, I think as Richmond fans, we should be able to celebrate Dusty in his 300th at the MCG, where he's most famous for playing. It's our club's home ground. It just made sense, And I think if we're in a position where we're playing finals or, in contention for finals and we needed to win desperately, different story. Put Dustin Martin in there, but we didn't need to play him. And, like I said, hindsight's a beautiful thing, but it's great that we didn't in the end because we got the win regardless. And now he'll line up for his 300th game against the Hawks at the MCG. So I'm really stoked about that. But we'll get into the game. And firstly, as well, I think it's interesting, and not saying that this means anything, it's more shattering, if anything, that both our wins this season, Dusty hasn't played in. You feel for him, don't you? Like, it's the one guy on the team that probably enjoys winning more than anyone else, hasn't been a part of either win so far this year. So there'll be a big feeling building up to this game against the Hawks because it's a big opportunity. But we'll stay on the Crows for now, obviously. It was a few days ago. It's taken me a couple of days to get this video out, so I do apologise. But, it'll be the last sort of look back that we do as we do head towards the big week that we'll be celebrating Dusty. So, again, I think in terms of the game, it was led by the performances of Toby Nankervis, who is honestly flying under the radar at the moment. Obviously, everyone looks at, Baker, Shea Bolton. Bolter's been really good in the back line at the moment, but Nanker's just been so solid every week. And I think he doesn't quite get the appreciation from outside of the 4 walls that he probably deserves. I think he's been one of the better competitors in the ruck in the competition this year. But again, they're led by Nank. Baker was outstanding. Noah Bolter, why was it even an option to put him up forward? He's so good down back, and we've just got to leave him there. Shea Bolton was awesome as well. Noah Cumberland was one for me that I think had a lot of pressure on him in terms of performance. He probably hasn't lived up to his what's the word for it? His potential, because I've said this 100 times on the show, his potential and upside is so great. It's just when he doesn't play that way, it can be quite disappointing. And, he kicked 3 goals. He looked competitive. He was running. He was tackling. It was great. That reversal really let him down. It was just, look, mind you, the Crows guy did flop, but still it was just unnecessary. We're having a shot at goal, and, the way we've been struggling to find goals, we really can't afford to be giving away set shots directly in front of goal. So that was really silly. Obviously, thankfully, it worked out anyway. It didn't go too badly for us. But speaking of, Cozzy, I actually thought was quite decent. I know there's a lot of talk about Cozzy and what everyone thinks of him. Should he play forward? Should he play back? Should he be in the side? I've been really, really keen to see Cozzy play alongside Tom Lynch, where Cozzy won't be the key focus point for us heading forward. Obviously played with McKelty, but again, different. Lynch is such a key figurehead down there and will take 90% of the attention. So I'm really keen to see Cozzy play with Lynch in the team, and I thought he was quite good on the weekend as well. I thought he played his role quite well. Again, he probably would have had another goal to his name if Cumberland doesn't turn that footy over. So I was actually quite impressed with him. Hugo Ralph-Smith, geez, he continues to impress me more and more every week. He's so ready for the level. He's filling that role that we needed out in that wing. He runs all day. He competes hard. He tackles. He can kick well. I'm falling in love with him more and more every week. Hugo Ralph-Smith, it's great. He's one of the better. Obviously, McKelty, everyone was saying, was a good focus point, and he was one of our biggest positives for the year so far. But if you're looking for a positive this year, Hugo Ralph-Smith, look no further. He's right there in front of us, and he's playing well every week. Another one as well, and not just for this weekend, but again for the whole season, Seth Campbell is something special. He's built for the level. He looks comfortable. He kicked that clutch goal in the last quarter, from close to the boundary on the run. It's a tough kick. And for a young guy, hasn't played that much football at AFL level, to just think, you know what, I'm going to go back and slot this. I love that. And he did just that, and he kicked that goal, and he really sort of cemented that win in for us. So big shout out to Seth Campbell. He's ready for the level, and I love watching him play. And I can't wait for Morris to be back in the team alongside with him. The two smalls, we could get that little mosquito fleet. It's building. Could have that back soon. So I'm loving what I'm seeing from him. And then, of course, the inclusions, and I've mentioned them already, but it's, you talk about Richmond and how we performed this year, and then you look at the outs that we've had. You go back to our one win, or, now we've had 2, but you look back to our first win of the season, and we had basically a full side. Like, we weren't really missing anybody that game. We had Dusty out, obviously, but we had a majority of our team in. And there's no wonder that we played well and competed. This weekend, or this Thursday night, we had Shea, Tim Taranto back into the team, Dion after being rested against the Cats, all play together. And it was no secret that we won a lot more of the football. We played pretty good. And it helps the young guys around them as well, because those guys are experienced heads. They've been around long enough. They know how to play the game, and they know how to bring their teammates into it. And it shows. It just shows. So, I'm excited to see what happens when we don't have, a massive injury list, how we can play and how we can perform. It is exciting. And, if we can win a few more games for the rest of the year, I'd be absolutely stoked. I'm not saying this is our role now and we're going to win the next 10 because we've got our boys back, as much as that would be fantastic. But I think it's going to show that we can compete against some decent sides as well. Hawthorn being the next challenge. And hopefully we've got Tom Lynch back in for that one, because that'd be massive as well. So that's pretty much it for the Crows review. It's been a few days now. I've probably left it a little bit too late, but I do appreciate you tuning in and watching regardless. Excuse me. It's been a long weekend. I do appreciate, again, like I said, watching and tuning in. It means the world. The comment section blows up. The Instagram comments blowing up, messages. It's great. It's awesome having that support. It was nice having a win to finally share some positive moments with everybody, because we're well overdue. And like I said, I think there is some exciting times, some exciting signs coming through as well with the boys. Some young players that are really stepping up and finding their own at AFL level. Thompson Dow, another one, massive shout out. He's coming in really owning that role in the midfield and playing some seriously good footy too. And we've got guys in the VFL that will definitely come up. Like Banks has been playing good footy down there as well. Caleb Smith, I thought, was very stiff. Like, he played 5 minutes against Geelong and then got dropped. So I'm excited to see him when he comes into the team and gets a real crack at it. I took a photo. So I'm going to read it out, because people talk about the lack of picks and, how we've ruined our draft hands and, our recruiting hasn't been that great. Let's just have a look. The 2021 draft tour, and half these guys haven't played together very often. We had Gibcus at number 9, Tom Brown, who is just shaping up to be a star, at number 17, Sonzi and Banks, 28, 29 respectively, and then 30, Juddy Clark. So we've got these young guys, this talented crop that is coming through. Gibcus hasn't had a real crack at it. Tom Brown's playing some consistent footy now, and we're all seeing how good he is. Tyler Sonzi, I still think is being misused as that half forward. I think he really needs to be in the midfield, but again, where do you slot him in? But we all know how promising he's looking. Sam Banks, like I said, played some good footy at AFL level. He's playing really good footy at VFL. Just wait till he comes in. And Juddy Clark was playing good footy, and he just, unfortunately, he's done an ACL this year, so we're not seeing a lot of him. But with all 5 of those guys playing together, I think we've got a really good young crop coming through. Plus, there's recruits that we've brought in, obviously, and there's other blokes in there as well in that mix. So I'm excited for what's ahead. I hope everybody else is as well. And, a win like this is nice because it does so much for confidence of these young guys as well. Like, there's only so much footy you can play without a win before you start to really drop your head. And you see this happen with teams like North and obviously West Coast for a couple of years there. Obviously, they're doing all right this season, but in the past as well. So it was nice to get a win, and I hope we can get a few more. You could just see the smile on blokes like McAuliffe. He's another one I didn't mention. To have their first win with the club, it's huge. So I'm stoked. I hope you all are too. It set us up for a great long weekend, if I'm being completely honest. To have a win on a Thursday night and then just relax the rest of the week knowing that we did come in winners. And it's probably perfect that we had the win on Thursday. Now we can think about focusing and celebrating Dustin Martin for the rest of the week. So thank you very much again for watching. I do appreciate all your love and support. Hopefully we can get another win and we can do another great video next week. But until then, go Tigers.